Well, hey there. Today we're in the studio with Rhett Wimmer, and we're talking about Alzheimer's and dementia and memory loss. So, Rhett, first of all, who is this video good for, and why should they watch it?
Good question. This video is for anyone who has a senior in their life. The reality is that Alzheimer's, the chief cause of dementia in this country, is impacting more and more people. Among those 65 and older, 1 in 9 will have Alzheimer's.
Wow.
Among those 85 and older, 50%. 50% are going to have Alzheimer's. So it's impacting a lot of people. It's impacting a lot of families.
Yeah.
This is important because out of every 5 families that are impacted by Alzheimer's or dementia, I should say more broadly, 4 of those families will fall apart to an extent. So starting this conversation now is super important so that you can maintain those open lines of communication with your family and keep that relationship healthy as the disease progresses, because it will.
Yeah. So help us, you already have mentioned the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia, and I think most people don't understand,
Sure.
me included. Explain that a little bit as people are trying to wrap their mind around this disease.
That's a great question. We tend to use them fairly synonymously when the reality is there's some differences. So dementia is a very broad umbrella term for, here's what helps me. Think of it this way. The word dementia itself is very similar to the word demented, right? So to have dementia is the state of being demented, right? You're out of your mind is the literal definition of that. And so what's happening with dementia is not what people will just right off the bat say memory problems, right? It's so much broader than that. It is brain failure. This is the major organ of your body, like kidney failure or congestive heart failure, that is failing. So Alzheimer's is one of some nearly 100 diagnoses that can cause dementia.
Okay. So I can imagine for a family that might just be entering into this, would the medical professional be using both of those terms, one of those terms?
Again, they'll continue to kind of be used synonymously. And part of the reason that can happen is because it's the Alzheimer's is the cause, the dementia is the bucket of symptoms caused by the Alzheimer's or caused by the Lewy bodies, caused by any of these other diagnoses.
So what are some, and I know we'll do some other videos to help families in this situation. This is just the first of many topics that we'll cover along these lines. What are some things that you would say in this first video then to a family who has maybe gotten some news and they're at the very beginning stages of caring for their loved one?
Very beginning stages, as with any surprising news, do your research. Become educated. There is so much good information out there. The Alzheimer's Association would certainly be chief among them to know, okay, what's happening with mom or dad? What are the next steps? Among those next steps is oftentimes ensuring that you're getting the appropriate controls, legal controls in place in order to assure the protection of mom, her health, her assets. That's certainly chief among them, but also working closely with your family in order to figure out, okay, what are we collectively as siblings or as husband going to come together to do for mom? And that would be among the first steps that needs to happen, if you ask me.
Now, we'll put some links below this video to the Alzheimer's Association. We'll put links, some helpful links so that you can begin to do some of your research. And also, we will put some questions below this that you can use to talk about with a caregiver, with your family, that would be really helpful, because this really is about starting the conversation.
That's exactly right.
So this first video will get that conversation started, and we're going to follow this up with some other topics as well. Rhett, what are some of the topics that we'll cover in future videos?
Some important topics would be relating to those who have dementia. We would talk about what we call validation, the language of dementia, entering into their reality. There's so much to learn about interacting with those who have dementia. I think it's also beneficial to talk about maybe Alzheimer's specifically, as it's the leading cause of dementia. What is exactly happening to your brain, as well as in some of those other more common diagnoses, for you to have a little bit of context there. Some other things that would be important, common questions are, okay, when's it the right time to get additional help in the home? When's it the right time to maybe find a place for mom or dad, husband to live? Lots of questions, because this is going to change your life. This is going to change their life, certainly, and it's going to only get worse because this is a progressive disease, and you got to be prepared for that.
Well, so we'll leave that right there. And again, Rhett is going to help us talk through several others. So check out some of the other videos. We will link to those below this one as well. And use those questions down below to talk about this with your family or with your group or with someone that's going to help you through these initial stages as you're starting to wrestle with this difficult disease. We'll see you in the next video.